I'm joined now by our reporter Hitekani Magwedze, and he has been following the story of the Beitbridge border fence, and that story, you will know that it has been much subject of talk in Parliament. Hitekani, good morning to you. So the SIU, I think that's the latest information relating to this story. SIU seeking to freeze the companies or the bank accounts of companies who constructed that fence, and it's for amounts topping 40 million rand. Take us through what we know so far about the story of the Beitbridge border fence.
Well, that's correct. The SIU is at the tribunal today in order to try and freeze those accounts that are belonging to the two contractors, to the two companies that were contracted by the Department of Public Works to erect that fence. Now, of course, that was a decision that the department made in the beginning of this year, around May, to repair the fence that at the border between South Africa and Zimbabwe, and that was so that you could control the spread of the coronavirus through maintaining the border and ensuring that people don't cross illegally. Now, we were there earlier this year, around April, on the 5th of April specifically, and when we were there, the contractor was still erecting that fence. He was still, well, rather, they were still on site erecting that fence, and we found already as early as April there were gaping holes on that fence that and that the fence wasn't really up to scratch in terms of the height that it was supposed to be. We went through and reported that people were already crossing that fence. Undocumented Zimbabweans were already crossing that fence without any deterrence. Of course, the decision after that was to increase the number of soldiers on the fence, but that didn't really solve the situation because soldiers found themselves inundated because the fence wasn't of the quality that it was meant to be. After a number of times going back and forth, Zimbabwe and Johannesburg reporting on the story, the SCOPA and the Standing Committee on Home Affairs and Public Works, those committees then went to the border to see for themselves after multiple sittings with officials, including the Minister of Public Works, and what they found was the fact that there were gaping holes on that new fence, and the quality wasn't of the one that they expected. In fact, the SIU was also there, and some of the things that they said are as you'll hear right now from the SIU official.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if Hitekani, I think what you are now alluding to is the soundbite that we are supposed to listen to that is coming from the SIU. Let's have a look or a listen to that soundbite.
The issues were around, was there a proper fence put up? Was there specifications? Did it meet the specifications that a border fence should be? And the other issue is the fence that was already in existence in 1984 and then decommissioned in 1994. Whether that fence should not have been used and upgraded so that it could be used. So was it necessary to put this fence up and not meet the requirements? Effectively, the first time we arrived here, we found 115 breaches in the fence. Now, as we drive through, we'll stop at certain places and show you the breaches, right? It is extremely easy to break this fence. If you take that razor wire, you can actually bend it with your fingers. So those were the issues that we were concerned about, and that's why we said we felt that the fence wasn't fit for purpose and didn't meet the standards of a proper fence.
All right, so that's the Special Investigating Unit giving an account of what they found when they got to the border fence. Hitekani, I'm going to ask you to just stay with us for a moment. Let's bring into the conversation now Helmoed Heitman. He is a defense analyst, and hopefully you were listening to my conversation with our reporter here, Helmoed, of course, also listening to that soundbite from the SIU. From what you can gather, is there a proper way to try and police what is going on at the border fence, or has the state essentially failed here?
Look, at the moment, clearly it's not working, so put it down to failure. The people are just walking across the border. You can close the border. It's difficult, it's expensive. You need something that will slow people down. I mean, no fence, unless it's electric and multi-layered and set to lethal, no fence is going to stop people. They will cut their way through. But a fence that buys time, so preferably a multi-layered fence that is hooked to an alarm system that is then monitored from the air, from watchtowers, whatever, and with reaction forces that can quickly respond when somebody comes across. That can work. I mean, the extreme cases in counterinsurgency campaigns such as Algeria in the 60s, it actually stopped guerrillas getting into Algeria. It costs money, it costs people. It can be done.
40 million rand down the line, and as you and I are talking, there isn't a proper and effective management of the border control there. Who's to be held accountable here?
Well, I would say whoever decided to build the type of fence and perhaps not coordinate with the military. Bear in mind also that border control used to be a defense force function. It was then taken away from the defense force together with the budget given to the police. They proceeded to neglect the fence, neglect the patrol bases and the communication system. The function was then given back to the defense force without the budget. And now they expect the defense force to be able to do it. And a simple fence, I mean, the photos I've seen of the current border fence, that isn't going to slow anybody down very long. I mean, I can go through there with a pair of wire cutters and a pair of gloves. It's no great trick. You need a multi-layer fence, probably a minimum of 2 fence lines with some concertina wire in the middle, and some sort of sensor system that will trigger an alarm so a patrol can go and react and grab the people before they've cut their way right through it. But then you need the budget to do it. You need the budget to have the people there. You need the budget for the vehicles. You need a quick response, maybe a light unmanned aerial system, light UAV, that can go and have a quick look and see who's doing what and then stay on top of them while they try to get into the country so the patrol can intercept them deeper inside the country.
In your view, Helmoed, the defense minister was in Parliament, I think it was this week, and she was talking about introducing drones to try and monitor the area because the fence as it is, there are 115 gaping holes there. Is that going to help in any way?
Look, yeah, I think, the border is so long. I mean, we have a hell of a border. It's not just the border with Zim. There are things happening on most of our borders. But even the Zim border is quite long. And the terrain in some places is a bit difficult. So to get a patrol to a breach in the fence quickly is not that easy. If you have a drone, and it can be a relatively small, relatively cheap one, that can be sent out a minute, either for just for surveillance to see what's going on. But if you get an alarm triggered, for instance, the drone can go there to pick up the people who come through the border. It can then stay above them and follow them, and you know where they are. So you can deploy a patrol deeper inside the country to intercept them. Because otherwise, once they're through and inside the country, where are you going to catch them?
Right.
And in some cases, maybe not on the Zim border, but I think there are 2. In some cases, they're crossed and they're already arranged for transport inside the country.
Yeah.
So hop in a car and they're gone. So by the time patrol gets there, it's too late. A drone will be able to keep an eye on that, track it, and guide the patrol to the place so they can be intercepted and arrested.
All right, Helmoed Heitman, I must thank you very much for your time. He is a defense analyst. And let's end this conversation with a final question to you, Hitekani. How is it that this has now almost become, if you like, the baby of the defense ministry? Where is Home Affairs here? Because surely they also have got to play a part here. Which department is actually directly responsible for border management?
Well, border management really is the responsibility of the Department of Home Affairs. But in essence, because the Defense Ministry has the responsibility of the security of the border, it really falls in the space of both departments. And unfortunately, for the for the Defense Ministry, it's really inundated because you have the fence and it's supposed to be a deterrent and supposed to help secure the borders of South Africa or South Africa and Zimbabwe. And it's not functioning as it's supposed to be. It's not helping either of these departments. I mean, the Department of Home Affairs is really there to facilitate the movement of people and make sure that they're documented along the official border gate and along the border fence. That's really the responsibility of the Defense Ministry in the assistance of a proper erected fence. And as you've seen and as you know, the fence is not fit for purpose. And it becomes a bigger problem for the small town of Musina and the health department because the services are inundated, because you have a lot of people coming in from Zimbabwe trying to get assistance, specifically where health is concerned. You have many people from Bulawayo and other towns of Zimbabwe trying to come down and get health assistance. And it's a big problem for all these departments, Xoli.
Very briefly, Hitekani, and a very final question to you. What responsibility does the Department of Public Works, which has spent this amount of money, where is Minister Patricia de Lille here?
Well, that's a big question. In fact, that's what we posed to the committees of the of Parliament and what responsibility she should be taking. And the direct answer was that she should be taking a huge part of this of the responsibility and the responsibility that comes with it, because she took the directive to enforce that emergency procurement clause that really opened up a way for a lot of these fraud and corruption loopholes that officials under her department, according to the reports that have been given by the SIU and Treasury, have taken from that. Now, it means that it looks like rather that she had already known of a contractor that could be appointed even before she took that decision, and that's according to the report. And if so, then she should take a huge weight of the responsibilities that come with the faults that have come from the Beitbridge border fence conundrum.
All right, Hitekani Magwedze watching that story for us. Thank you very much for the update.